How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. We also got to put in the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. So just know when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the work week. Maybe you had maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions. Well, you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. What did the nose say to the finger? Quit picking on me. Not too bad, pretty cool. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN. I know you guys are looking forward to getting an update, so we're going to be going over it in this video. But of course, before we get started, we have to go over the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below in the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're considering to take a position, I suggest you watch the full entire video. So the first thing we're going to be going over is a technical analysis, taking a look at the overall price action. Is it looking bullish or is it looking bearish? Where are those areas of where it could possibly pull back to? I know many of you are looking at as far as averaging down since you believe in the long-term prospects, and it's really key to know where those levels are so you can really maximize and get that cost basis in the right place so you can actually maximize the run-up when it does occur. And then secondly, we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. I feel this is key to know. We want to know what is the inflow, what is the outflow. What does this mean? Buying versus selling. Is there more selling going on? Or is there more buying going on? While it's pulling back, are we seeing even more buying? I feel this is very key to know, so we're going to be going over it. And then I'll be going into my final thoughts afterwards as far as even more key details. So let's get into it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for OCGN. So let's see how it performed on a day. So it ended up closing at $6.13, being down 3.31% on the day. On the low, it tested $5.96, then on the high, testing $6.53. As far as our indicators, let's see what it's telling us. The chart we're using is the 1-year daily chart. If we take a look at the RSI down below, it's definitely in that oversold territory, being right around 37. And if we take a look at the 200-day, of course, it's showing strength above that, but it has broken through the 21-day EMA and as well as the 100-day. So taking everything into consideration, we know that the chart is looking fairly bearish for OCGN. But what I want to see is they're going to continue to have that strength. We talked about how well do we want to see it hold up that area around $6, and it did a fairly good job doing that. It went to $5.96 and was able to recover. But as far as when this week progresses, and there's going to be a lot more volatility due to the Fed meeting, there is a potential for a pullback. So if it does decide to pull back further, I'd be very curious to see how well it can hold up this $5.65 level. If that area did ever decide to end up breaking, then I'd want to see how well it could hold up around this $5.26 level. And for anyone that does believe in the long-term prospects of OCGN, this does provide an opportunity. Or you could wait for it to pull back and see if it actually comes here to the 200-day right here around $4.43. I believe that OCGN should be able to recover and should be able to stay above $5. I am not in this play personally, like I was telling you guys, but I do trade off the momentum because I feel like, hey, there's definitely a big pop that's going to be coming with OCGN. I just don't know when, because I see there's a lot of people who are loading up on shares, especially at the prices that we're currently seeing. So we got to see what ends up happening, but I do predict there's going to be a lot of volatility in this play, and I would not be going long on this play in my personal opinion until I see the price actually settle and find the floor. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we can see here on the inflow side we have 43, and on the outflow we had 38. So we had 2 that were large, we also had 28 that were medium, and we had 13 that was small. On the outflow side, we had 3 that was large, 22 that was medium, and small that was 12. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, as you can see, it's been a ton of outflows starting from June the 8th all the way to June the 14th, with the most recent being 1,527.8. 8. So taking this into consideration, this is of no surprise since things have changed course, right? The plans have changed, so many people have been dumping out shares. But one thing to also understand, we are seeing some activity on the inflow side. So we're seeing, hey, even though it's getting dumped, there's people who are buying on the dips. And I'm pretty sure that people who are buying on the dips do have long-term conviction for this play, and I feel like if you're going to be doing the same, you should be having the same sentiment. So now let's get into the final thoughts. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some more volatility as this week progresses. We do have a Fed meeting that is coming up this week, so this stock can pull back even further. Another thing to understand, and which we covered on the weekend, the short interest is high in this play, so there's a lot of shorts that are really trying to bring this price down. For many of you, you might see this as an opportunity, and if so, then make sure you have high conviction if you make that decision to buy shares. Another thing is, and I'm going to tell you guys as far as from my position, I am not buying any shares right now at the moment. I really want to see where the price does decide to actually bottom out. The last thing that I want to do is get into a play and then the stock decides to pull back even further. And also, you have that choice. If you do believe in the long-term prospects, then you need to make sure that you're ready for the roller coaster that is coming ahead. When we took a look at the order flow distribution, there's been a lot of selling. There's been a lot of outflow in this play. So it could definitely go back to that $5 range. It did test the 596 area and ended up showing a sign of recovery. But again, this can really get worse, like I said, with more volatility that's going to be coming ahead. Now, for anyone that's in this play and you're talking about the vaccines, which we've talked about many times, as far as for the pediatric studies, we have to wait for these to be completed. They have to get the data together, and there's a lot of things that actually come together in regards to actually doing this. So it's going to take some time. The deadlines are going to be extended. Many people are also talking about the fact when I was talking about the EUA in Canada. Yes, I saw the numbers that were updated today. We have 12% of the Canadian population that is fully vaccinated. But one thing you need to understand, most of the population has the first dose and they are waiting to actually get their second dose, especially like myself and many others that I know. We're going to be getting them in September. So there's a time period, there's a time gap. So many times you need to really understand what is going on instead of just looking at the number. Well, you know what? 12% is only that's fully vaccinated. You have to understand taking a look at the first dose, because many people that have their first dose already have their second dose scheduled already. So I want to make sure that you understand that and you are aware of that. What I'm saying is, as long as covaxin, let's say Biotech and Ocugen, as long as they do what they need to do, they follow the FDA guidelines, covaxin will get approved. I'm not saying that it will not be approved. Now, the next thing we got to take a look at, yes, everyone gets vaccinated, but let's think about, can this be done on a yearly basis, right? Not every single person is going to be vaccinated with the current vaccines that are out there. So covaxin will be able to get some market share, but you got to ask yourself, how much are they really going to be getting, right? And at the end of the day, ocugen is only getting a certain percentage, 45, and we're taking a look at Canada and the US. If they expand into more markets, then they can make even more revenue. And this is part of the reasons why, if you have high conviction, you have to understand this and be aware of this, and you want to see this consistency in their earnings reports. We do know they're getting the right management in place, which is really good. So that's why I'm saying, as far as the likelihood of covaxin getting FDA approval, I think it is very high. And I also want to bring up a comment that came up in one of my videos for OCGN, and they're talking about, do you think the US is going to grant FDA approval for an Indian-made vaccine? In this case, we're talking about covaxin. And you know what? I personally think yes. And part of the reasons being is it is showing great data so far, and all the FDA is asking for is to make sure those trials are conducted on US soil using the guidelines that they have outlined. That is it. So unless something goes wrong while those studies are moving forward, then that's the only reason why that covaxin would not get FDA approval. So this is something we need to understand, and it's part of the reasons why, even though I am not in this play personally and I don't want to ride through the roller coaster, I do believe that covaxin get FDA approval if things go according to plan. So those are my final thoughts on that. You guys know I'll give you guys another update tomorrow. Be prepared for the volatility that's ahead, and if it pulls back getting into that $5 range where it did test for today, Think about what you want to do as far as what your goals are. Is it short term or is it long term? And will it fit even the guidelines and the deadlines that are set out from Bharat Biotech and Ocugen in regards to getting covaxin into North America, exactly being Canada and US of what we have so far. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be talking real soon.